freedom of speech at stake. High court cautions cops over complaints of outraging religious sentiment in Mumbai, India. So there's some background to this case. On December 18th, 2019, 4 rock band musicians were arrested by Panaji police for allegedly insulting the Hindu religion during their performance at the Serendipity Arts Festival in Goa. Recently, the Bombay High Court canceled the first information report, or FIR, filed in 2019 against the band members. So this is like a police report. The musicians were arrested under the Indian Penal Code's Section 295, which is about criminalizing people for hurting religious sentiments, essentially, following a Supreme Court complaint filed by advocate Venkata Krishna Kunduru. They were later granted bail after they deposited a surety of 20,000 rupees. The complaint was filed against the song Mantra Kavita, composed by two-time this like prolific musician. Advocate Shivan Desai claimed that the complainant was taking lines out of context to insist that the song hurt the feelings of millions of Indians and a few million abroad. So what's really interesting here in this case is that the judge is basically giving a warning to people who are using what is basically India's version of a blasphemy law too liberally. They're using it too much. So a bench of justices, M.S. Sonak and M.S. Jawakar, observed that the police should be sensitive when registering the offense of outraging religious sentiments, as freedom of speech and expression is at stake. So they go into, I mean, I can get into more details in a second, but about how basically the police are being too liberal when filing these complaints with people.
What does this HC stand for?
High Court.
So this is not the highest court. How high are we talking? Mumbai?
I think like a state level.
Okay.
High Court.
Hey guys, if you're a fan of Blasphemy and Sexy Kali, like me, then that means that you probably want more blasphemous art. Well, I have good news for you. If you subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description below, then you get a free booklet of some of the tastiest blasphemous art available today. So, if you want some of this delicious blasphemy, and we're so generous that we update it for you guys weekly for free, all you have to do is sign up for our newsletter below. You can also go to blasphemousart.com/ebook. That's blasphemousart.com/ebook. Sign up with your email, and you get free gifts of this tasty blasphemy. What could be better? So make sure you sign up. Link below.
So this is good. I mean, I guess it's because it's not Uttar Pradesh, right? This is not UP. That's why we're getting stuff like this, right? I mean, this is why we shouldn't treat all of India the same. Some states are better than the others. Mm-hmm. Which state was it that they took us, that they took Atheist Republic to court? Like the FIR?
Oh, that was in Delhi.
Oh, that was in Delhi. So that was not the same area that these.
City. Yeah, no, not.
Would this set a precedent for maybe the Delhi court, or no?
I don't think so. Because this is a local state court. Ours was a petition filed straight to the Supreme Court. Oh, yeah, and it has to do with separate subjects anyways. Our situation at the Supreme Court is about holding social media companies liable for blasphemous content. This is about being too excessive with just taking FIRs against people on the basis of blasphemy when it's not. And the thing is, I mean, I can get into the details, but their argument about why this is bad is not because blasphemy is okay. That's not the argument. It's like police are being sloppy or just there's not enough justification for them accepting police reports against people for this, because they just, people take things out of context, they accuse people of stuff, and they just go forward with it. And the court is exactly saying you can't just take things out of context, have people not provide proof of this criminal act. And because if you just do this so willy-nilly, you are violating people's free expression. That's what's at stake here.
Okay, so let's put this in context. First of all, this is the Bombay High Court, and Katie is saying High Court is the highest court in the state. The court above this is the Supreme Court. Yes, and we have Atheist Republic has been made an example of in the Supreme Court of India. So we have the honor of being Atheist Republic have been taken over all the way up to me. Actually, personally, been taken up to all the way to the Supreme Court of India. One of my greatest honors. But and this is the picture of the High Court. So here's the context to this is not them saying that blasphemy is okay, right?
Yes.
By the way, so for the idiots who say there's no blasphemy in India, just because you don't call it blasphemy laws, it doesn't make it not blasphemy laws, right?
Oh my God.
If you have laws that says there's a penalty
for hurting religious sentiments,
for death, you'd be like, oh no, there's no blasphemy laws. Yeah, you just don't call it blasphemy laws. Yeah. That by definition is blasphemy laws, you idiots. Okay, so yes, you do have blasphemy laws in India, and what this court is saying is not that there shouldn't be any blasphemy laws. They're just saying that you need more proof for your blasphemy accusations, right? So let's just not get like too excited here. I mean, this is good that they're saying like, oh, freedom of speech is being violated if you're not too careful with your gathering of proofs before you accuse people of blasphemy, right? So they think they want to support free speech only to the point where this whole accusation of blasphemy by the police is not being used willy-nilly, which the police are very liberal when it comes to using the blasphemy. Like they're just throwing away FIRs left and right. I mean, we have been the target of that, right? We've seen how easy it is to be accused of blasphemy in India, and you just get a filed an FI. It always starts with freedom of speech doesn't mean you can, and usually you didn't understand.
Yes, it can.
Yeah, it does mean that. But now the only thing that's happening is that these judges are saying like, guys, make less accusations with better proofs. So they're not saying that it's okay to hurt religious sentiments. They just say, make sure you have proof for it. You want to say something?
Yeah, so I want to give a little more context. According to Bar and Bench, which is basically like a newspaper for court watching, the court also observed that, quote, the complainant precisely chose to pick out sentences or word on the basis of which a vague complaint was filed, which did not even spell out the basic ingredients of a Section 295A of the IPC. According to us, there was no justification whatsoever for the police inspector to hurriedly register such an FIR. The police authorities are expected to be quite sensitive in such matters because what is at stake is the freedom of speech and expression. Therefore, unless the complaint discloses the ingredients of the offense under Section 295A of the IPC, it is not expected of the police authorities to rush and register an FIR in this case. And they even go on to say that there has to be a malicious intent. Wait. Shoot, where was it? So basically, like, these guys were singing a song, and apparently it's like a musical adaptation of a poem, and this person just took the lyrics out of context and said they're using abusive language towards Hinduism, and this is offending millions of people. Meanwhile, there are also millions of Indians who aren't offended by this. And it's so funny with many of these, like, blasphemy cases in India. It's so common that I see them saying that you've offended millions of Indians and several more million abroad. they always bring up like the Indian community abroad. Like, I don't know why that's relevant, but I keep on seeing that come up in all
They're
these pieces.
reminding you of their powers outside of their borders, their
Mm.
voting base, and the way that they could make things difficult for you where you live. This is what they always try to do. They're like, don't think you're safe because you're outside of India. We're everywhere. That's what they. And again, these people act like they're speaking on behalf of all their people, and they're not, right?
Yeah.
Most of our fan base comes from India, for example, right? These people are like, oh, you're offending Indians. They're like, yeah, we have
got a
our
huge
biggest
community in India.
We
What
have
are
our
you talking about?
biggest community in India.
Um,
Okay.
So, oh yeah, so there's this condition where it's like it has to be deliberate and malicious intention to hurt religious feelings of the Hindus. So, like that's the argument. It's like, oh, if it met that condition, then it would be totally fine to penalize you for this.
Are there any stories in Hindu mythology where one god is offending the other god, or there's a struggle, or there's like some butthurt god because of another god?
I mean, I'm not the right person to ask.
Yeah, because if there is, we could make a blasphemous art where that god who offended the other god has a FIR filed against them and is going to jail because of offending religious sentiments, because being offensive to another god, right? Because some people worship that. Wait a minute, yes. So
If
Brahma,
we had like, we could, if
Brahma
the
and Vishnu
monkey-
were fighting at the beginning of like the part of the creation story is Brahma and Vishnu were fighting over who's the more powerful god, and they were insulting each other, I guess. So they were both blaspheming. Like there are so many people who worship Vishnu. So Brahma insulting Vishnu would be blasphemy because it's hurting the religious sentiment of the people who love Vishnu. So Brahma should have a FIR filed against them.
The
You could
first
do
thing I
something
thought
like
of was, well, this is Chinese mythology, but the Monkey King
Oh yeah.
and how he's like challenging the Jade Emperor, and then also the sage. I can't remember his name.
No,
Like,
let's
I feel
focus
like
on
that'd be
Hinduism. This story is very good. Shiva beheaded one of Brahma's head in one story. Yeah, I remember that story. Because he was, well, who was he? Brahma's heads kept on growing because he wanted to look at this girl, and he moved around, and she was getting uncomfortable. Instead of turning his head, so he kept on looking at her. This is like a scary movie situation, right? Like, and she moved away, so he stopped looking at him, and instead of turning his head, another head grew so he could keep looking at her. Imagine how
God.
freaky.
That's so scary.
And then he kept on moving, and another head grew. And then she kept on moving, so he stopped looking at him. And another head grew, so he keep looking at her everywhere she goes. And then I don't know, she jumped up or something, and the fifth head grew up like upwards,
Oh my
right?
God.
And then Shiva came and beheaded that head. And by the way, that was his daughter,
Oh my
that
God.
he was. Yeah, that was his own daughter that eventually he married. This
geez.
is like some freaky stuff, right? This is like
Some freaky stuff.
this is like a scary movie situation, but this is like a blasphemous against Brahma. So yeah, Shiva should go to jail. We should make it so Shiva is having an FIR, or like is being arrested by Indian police for insulting Brahma. That should be a
I
blasphemous
feel like
charge.
that's also just like bodily harm.
Yeah.
You're going. This is an FIR for bodily harm,
No.
dismemberment, and hurt religious sentiments.
No, religious sentiments matter more than bodily harm. Okay. All right. Wait. Let me see. Okay. So
Katie
you
is
read
saying
what
it was a ritual where you go around a god or fire as a sign of worship or devotion. Does this have anything to do with Agni? I learned about Agni recently.
Agni is the one who uses, like, the reason why you have fire everywhere is because Agni is supposed to be your in between you and other gods, because he acted like the messenger, right?
Yeah, but
like
that's partly why you go around fires, is like
yeah,
to communicate with him.
yeah. And Diwali, the fire is supposed to represent Agni.
Yeah.
But other gods, they don't bother with humans. Agni is the only one that is cool with humans. Like the other gods, they think like humans. Why waste my time with them, right? So that's why Agni, who is cool with humans, you talk to Agni, and Agni might like talk to other gods on your behalf, like something like that. Oh yeah, this is the woman, the goddess.
Saraswati.
Was
She's
going
going
around
around
Brahma.
Brahma, and Brahma grew ahead to look at her. She went up to the sky. Brahma grew ahead on top of his head.
Yeah, that's what I
Look
said.
at her. Oh my god.
Yes, exactly. No, I'm not. Don't read that. Just
I don't
Yeah.
think Katie meant to spell it that way.
I think she did. She did. I don't know. Anyways,
know.
but yeah, she is. She is both. She was their daughter, but he married. Guys,
Oh boy.
you think Islam has child marriage, right?
Yeah.
Islam has child marriage with the Prophet. Hinduism has child marriage with their God. Like their God has child marriage, but not any child. Their God married
child marriage.
ancestral, married his own daughter. That's how bad Hinduism gets. So you think Islam has problems? I mean, it does. To be
Fair, it
to be
does.
fair.
It definitely does.
All right, cool. Wait. Oh my God! Yes, guys, I know. Agni was one of the all elder gods. It became yes, the newer gods are the tree gods of people like. I mean, I hope you understand that the older gods. This is like Game of
still
Thrones
stuck
stuff.
around.
They still stuck around, but this is like Game of Thrones stuff. The old gods are the new gods. The new gods are basically Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma. The old gods are Agni, Indra, and I don't know the other guy. But yeah, they became less popular,
Just
which
because
is
they're
dumb.
an older generation, that doesn't mean that
Which
they're
is
not
so
there.
dumb because Agni is the coolest. Have you seen images of guy? He's like a fire god that rides on a goat. Like, just
It is a really cool goat.
Why did that god became less popular? I don't understand. Yeah. Anyways, next. Yeah, see, goddess did mean that. That's how crazy Hinduism is. Okay, that was not a mistype. That's we can't even read that. Sorry for YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we can. How can YouTube tell the difference? Yeah, there's
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I don't know what YouTube rules are.
Hey guys, YouTube has fully demonetized our channel for supposedly hateful and harmful conduct, without telling us what we did wrong. If we get to 1,000 patrons, we will be able to keep paying all our team, our editors, our artists without ever having to worry about monetization again, which would be amazing. Yay! So please support Atheist Republic on Patreon. Link in the description below.